What's up, everybody? Hockey Time here, back again with another video. Today, I'm going to take you guys through my award predictions for the 2023-2024 NHL season. Just going to go through some of the bigger ones. So the Selke, the Jack Adams, the Art Ross, the Calder, Norris, Vezina, Rocket, and lastly, the Hart. So again, going in that order with the Selke Trophy starting first, I do think Nico Hischier probably takes it home this year. Bergeron, obviously, he's been the king of the Selke Trophy his entire career. But I think with him being out of the league now, it opens up the door for some guys like Hischier, Couturier, if he can stay healthy. But I do like Nico Hischier probably to take the Selke home this season. He's just one of the best two-way forwards we've seen in the game. Obviously, scores a good bit, but obviously as well one of the better defensive centermen we have in the league. So I like Nico Hischier for the Selke. For the Jack Adams, so this one obviously is notorious for being the award for the coach whose team kind of does better than expectations. There's a couple teams that could kind of fit that bill this year. I think Vancouver with Rick Tocchet could be one of them. Frankly, I think Florida, again, despite how far they got this year, could see Paul Maurice get some votes here. But my pick for the Jack Adams is actually Don Granato of the Sabres. I think obviously the Sabres have some pretty high expectations this year anyway, but I do think if they're successful, he's going to get a good look for this award. So yeah, I like Don Granato as a good option for the Jack Adams. For the Art Ross Trophy, I mean, there's really not many options aside from McDavid here. Obviously, I could go off the board and pick someone that I think is going to have a lot of points, and we'll kind of touch on that in my Hart Trophy pick. But yeah, I think for the Art Ross, if you're going with anyone but McDavid, you're kind of banking on an injury. I just don't think anyone's taking that away from him this season. For the Calder Trophy, this is another one that I think is kind of a lock, barring some injuries, but I am going with Connor Bedard. I do think both Logan Cooley and Devin Levi will probably get a good handful of votes here as well. I think Levi is kind of the more slept on of the options. That's not Connor Bedard in regards to winning the Calder, but I mean, the expectations for this kid are just so high, and I really think that he can, thrive and exceed most of them. I think 70 plus points is pretty reasonable for him, even with the lack of depth and talent on that Blackhawks roster. I mean, just through the preseason games and the rookie tournament, from what we've seen of him so far, the talent's just immeasurable. Like, the kid has one of the best shots already in the entire league. His skating, his hockey sense is all just really, really strong. Really doesn't have a weak point in his game aside from his size. So yeah, I think barring an injury, Bedard's the runaway favorite for the Calder, and he's my pick to win the Calder as well. But do keep an eye out for Devin Levi. I think he's going to have a better year than people are probably giving him credit for. But I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Bedard in the Calder race. For the Norris Trophy, so obviously there's the big horses. There's the Hedmans, the Makars, the Adam Foxes. I wanted to kind of stay away from those three. I don't think any of them are really a bad pick going into the season. But I'm going to go with Miro Heiskanen for this one. He's really the only big horse on Dallas. He's going to get time on both sides of the special teams. He's probably going to get, at least 70 points. And really just one of the more underrated offensive defensemen in the league, but doesn't, he's not just on the offensive side of the puck like someone like Harrelson, who won last year, was. So it's kind of a tough pick. I think obviously there's some defensemen that will probably outscore him, i.e. Cale Makar, probably one of Letang or Carlson on that Penguins power play. But I think Heiskanen just has a really solid head on his shoulders. I think he's going to, again, be able to obtain 70, 80 points this season. He's going to be doing everything for the Dallas power play. So I like him as my pick for the Norris Trophy. For the Vezina Trophy, I went a little bit off the board for this one, I think, too. I think a lot of people are probably going to go with Sorokin this year. Just coming off the year he had last year, he probably deserved to be more in the conversation, but obviously Linus Ullmark kind of ran away with that one. But I'm going to go with Connor Hellebuyck for this year. He is in a contract year. Despite picking up Laurent Brossoit, he probably still gets 60-plus games. And again, he's looking to make himself as valuable as possible, given that he's going to be a free agent this coming off season. So whether he gets traded around the trade deadline or if Winnipeg hangs on to him and they try to make a push for the playoffs, he, as usual, is going to be one of the main reasons if this team is successful. So I think there's a lot of signs kind of pointing to Hellebuyck having a really big year this year. So he is my pick for the Vezina Trophy for 2024. For the last two here, for the Rocket, again, similar idea to the Norris Trophy. I did not want to go with one of the big three like Matthews, McDavid, or David Pastrnak. So went a little bit off the board here. I think Tage Thompson's capable of winning this award. Obviously, 47 goals last year in Buffalo. I think that team is just going to keep getting better. He's kind of proven that year was not a fluke. Obviously the year prior, he kind of really exploded onto the scene. People thought, is this repeatable? Obviously, last year proved it's more than repeatable. So I like Thompson as kind of my dark horse pick here. Do I really expect him to win it? Probably not. I mean, it's frankly, the Art Ross and Rocket probably both go to McDavid. And frankly, the heart probably goes to him too, but we'll transition right into that. I am going way off the board with my Hart Trophy winner, and I'm actually going to go with Kirill Kaprizov. Minnesota just lacks a lot of the depth that some of these other big teams have with other big name players, like McDavid on the Oilers, Pasta on the Bruins, um, Matthews or Marner on the Leafs, Jason Robertson on Dallas, Jack Hughes on New Jersey. Like all these teams have multiple players that are top line players on every other team in the league. They're going to get 70 plus points. Like they're really not alone in the sense that Kirill Kaprizov is. Obviously, there's some other talented players on Minnesota. Looking at guys like Matt Boldy, um, largely on their forward group. I mean, they just don't have the big pieces that other teams have. And Kaprizov, again, more than capable of scoring in bunches. I don't think he gets close to the Art Ross, frankly. I think it's one of those arguments that, if Minnesota makes the playoffs and they end up with a good seed, whether it's, I don't think they win the Central, but if they win the Central, I'm sure Kaprizov's a massive part of that. So, frankly, kind of just wanted to go off the board with this one. Do I really expect Kaprizov to win it? Probably not. But I think of the players with more of an outside shot, I think he's a good look. Just because there's not a ton of talent around him on Minnesota like there are for a lot of these other guys that are, rated more highly as far as their potential to win the Hart Trophy. So that's going to be it for this one. Let me know what you guys think of my choices in the comments section below. Again, went a little bit off the board for some of these. I don't really like just picking the same big name players over and over again, and frankly, that's not always how it goes. So we'll see what happens. But thanks again for watching. We'll talk to you guys next week. Season starts on Tuesday, so I hope you guys are excited for some more content. We'll talk to you soon.